Welcome to the Cutting Techniques video. Here we'll show you how to control your knife so you can achieve the different types of cuts you'll need to master as a rapper. So get your knife and let's get started. This is the Avery Dennison knife and blade we recommend you work with. Please note the blade is a 30-degree blade, which gives us more precision than a 45-degree blade. We need to make sure it's sharp. So start every job by breaking off a used tip to begin with a fresh one. Remember to dispose of snap blades in a safety container. Before we cut anything, it's important to know for the film to be cut cleanly, you don't actually need to cut through it all the way. This is important to understand because there are many times you will need to cut film that is already on the vehicle without damaging the surface underneath it. So this is the first technique we will learn: how to cut into the film without damaging the substrate. Our objective is to cut through the top layer of the film without cutting all the way through it. So for this, you'll need good feel and control, which you can get by holding the knife in the right way, like this, with these two fingers. Only use the weight of the knife, not any extra pressure from your fingers. Being able to cut without going all the way through is an acquired skill. So start out by practicing on a substrate you're not worried about damaging, like a cutting table. Another option is to protect the substrate by leaving the liner on the film. Draw some lines on the film to challenge yourself to maintain the correct cutting pressure. It's more about moving your body with your wrist. Lift the film from the liner to see how you did. If the film is already split apart, as it is on the right, then you've cut too far. On the left, however, it's been done correctly. Notice how easily it splits apart even though it hasn't been cut all the way through. This is correct. Another way to know if you're cutting too far is by wetting the liner after you cut. Where you see a grey line is where you're cutting all the way through. So no grey lines is good. Finally, you can test your cutting skills on a balloon, where you'll easily discover if you're cutting too far. Next, we are going to demonstrate two different trimming cuts. Both need different grips. For the first technique, hold the knife like a pen. Slide out the blade, then move your index finger to cushion against the reverse side of the blade. With the other hand, holding the excess material tight, slide down along the substrate using your middle finger as a guide. The other trimming cut is for when you want to leave a little extra material for the wrap around the edge. To do this, change the angle of the cut. This leaves a millimetre or two to wrap around the edges for finishing. When trying to cut the excess from the other side of the panel, the previous finger position will no longer work. Adjust by moving your index finger from the back of the blade and placing it underneath the knife casing. Now, with the finger against the film as a guide, you can start to cut. These are just a few of the cutting techniques we teach and practice in our courses. Remember, always start with a fresh, sharp blade. Get a good feel for how much pressure to use by practicing on a table, film with liner, or balloon. And finally, choose the appropriate grip for maximum control and precision, depending on the cut needed. Thanks for watching this video on cutting. Send in your requests for other techniques you would like us to demonstrate. Or join one of our courses so we can help you identify and correct those techniques you're having trouble with.